Hey, so my goal with this video is to share with you my life experience on how you can stay motivated through the hard times and some actionable steps you can do to potentially save years of headaches and failures and help you actually enjoy your winter arc, as some kids say, or used to say. I don't know anymore, man. If you can't tell, I'm not a 20-year-old who's with the times. So allow me to yap a bit about myself. I'm not gonna take long. For most of my life, the main reason I wanted to start my own business and to make money was to find freedom. You know, it's the usual thing you hear, the freedom to do whatever, whenever, wherever. But there's at least two problems with that goal as a motivator that when I look back, it's just not enough to work for me. One of those problems is that starting a business to find freedom is unfortunately one of the stupidest reasons to build a business. I gotta be honest with you. Knowing what I know now, if I really wanted that kind of freedom, building a business is the last thing I should do. Because starting a business can and will take all of your time, effort, energy, and money. And also you can just clock out. A business, you don't do that. But let's say I did build a business and I got the success. I'm making a lot of money and I have the freedom to do whatever, wherever, and whenever. And then what? I retire at 40? So I could just sit and watch anime and play games all day? Well, I've done that before in my teens and my early 20s, and I didn't need that much money for it. And if you've done that for a while, and you're anything like me, you know how empty that feels at the end of the day. And you also know that feeling when you lay down in bed after a whole day of doing nothing, and then you just start thinking, man, what am I doing with my life? So yeah, for me, that is not good enough motivation to work hard every day. So that was my main problem. I kept searching. I couldn't really figure out a good reason to stay consistent when you get to the obstacles of actually building a business. But everything changed a few years ago. There was just one turning point. Then and only then, everything made sense to me. And that was when I became a father. Okay, but now you're thinking, bro, are you telling me to have kids? Seriously? No, don't worry, I'm not. Even though I highly recommend it, because I don't think you're a full developed human being until you have kids. But stick with me, let me make my point, because I think it can help you even if you don't have kids. So I have two great boys who are past the toddler phase and are actual kids who can do stuff on their own. Holy crap, man, time flies. They're now at an age where I can have conversations with them about what they like, about what they don't like, and the dreams they have. And right now, their dreams are to find out who can fart the loudest or who can run up a hill faster. But seeing them running around and laughing and realizing that I'm fully responsible for these two small human beings, that completely changes how you frame everything. And I'll never forget holding my firstborn for the first time. Holding a tiny, fragile baby for the first time, it just shocks your whole system in a way that just never happened to me before. That light baby feels really heavy when you realize the weight of that responsibility. Yeah, that can be scary, but it also feels awesome, man. You feel this desire and duty to protect and provide that's really hard to describe. And you feel scared and invincible at the same time. And then it was right after that I realized what was the best source of motivation for me. It was so clear. It just boils down to, it was never about me. So it's been about serving other people? Always has been, I guess. Honestly, I didn't think it needed to take like 30 years, that long to figure out that serving others is a great why to have. So here I am, in a video telling you what should have been obvious to me like years ago. But if you think this doesn't apply to you, here's the cool part about this. You don't need kids to realize this yourself. Here's a good example that can apply to you right now. Think about a difficult period in your life, or a tough problem you had that you managed to solve. What was it that helped you go through it? Was it just like a simple solution? Was there a person that helped you go through it? And then the most important question is, can you be that person for somebody else? Maybe helping people through that problem can be your big why, or your motivation. Here's an example of how finding my why gave me a huge boost in motivation for hard work. During COVID, we went through some rough times financially. To make ends meet, I had to work my butt off as a waiter at a restaurant during the night while I did freelance work in the morning. But did I love that job? No. Did it matter? Also no, because I had my why of providing and protecting my family. And then that job paid the bills while I applied for better opportunities. And slowly I got my finances in order. Then we decided to move to a cheaper area where we could save even more money. Eventually, that led me to the job that I have now, which is a great one. Now I have a little time early in the morning and late at night to make these videos. So I can share the stuff I learned so you can make better decisions than I did. Okay, that sounds good and all, but you might be saying, well, good for you, but how do I figure out my own why? Okay, here's the juicy part that's gonna help you dig deeper. If you take anything out of this video, I just want you to figure out the answers for these 3 questions. What do you stand for? Ask yourself, what are your most important values? I know this is not an easy thing to answer, but if you haven't thought about this yet, you should start thinking about it now. The answer is really going to help you understand how you behave towards others and how they should behave towards you. Then you can start setting standards for yourself and, healthy boundaries with others. This takes time and effort, but it'll force you to audit your life in a big way. Here are more questions I would ask. What kind of people do I have around me? And do they share and hold the same values as I do? And then once you figure this out, the next question gets easier. Who are you trying to help? Think hard about this, and please, don't just pick yourself. Try to think about someone specific you like and you enjoy spending time with. But if you can't think of anybody, then the next best thing is to create an avatar. An avatar is a fictional person you create whom you think you can help the most. And here's a good hack to figure out your avatar. Think of a person that could be exactly like you. Same values, your same likes and dislikes, but they have to be someone else. Because from what I've experienced psychologically, there's a lot less friction there. If you just pick yourself, you're likely to get bogged down with your own limiting beliefs and doubts, and it's just not gonna work. So treat that avatar as your best friend, someone you really care about that you want to see succeed. You'll be way more motivated to help them because they're your best friend and you don't want to disappoint your best friend, do you? Are you seeing the value of this yet? So here are some additional questions to get started on building this new best friend. What are their needs, their dreams, their fears? What keeps them up at night? What problems do you think that they need solving? By now you're probably asking, but bro, that person doesn't exist though. And you're right, but you do. And you're kind of like that avatar. You see what I'm doing here? And guess what? You're not as unique as you think. Sorry to break it to you. But that's a great thing because if you're not unique, you're going to be relatable to someone out there. But then once you answer these questions and you build that avatar, that will lead you to the more technical part. How will you help them? What can you offer them to make their life better? Think of their dreams, imagine them fulfilling those dreams. You know their needs and you know their problems. So from there, you can build a whole business strategy around it. And now with the who and how figured out, hopefully the why becomes clear. Peel back the onion and why it will be great to help them. I believe this can be your biggest motivator to keep going through the tough days. By the way, if you're still here and you watched this all the way through, shout out to you. I left something in my description you should look at, okay? If you do find it and solve it, you get something out of it. I wonder if you can do it. Answering those questions are how I decided what to do for this channel, and build a brand around it. While I'm sharing my life and my stories, I don't want to make it just about me. It's also about you. It's for you who's working more than one job to make ends meet. And it's for you who, after all these years, you still have the fire to learn something new later at night, when you're exhausted or after you put the kids to bed. And it's for you who's in a good place career-wise, but you're feeling like you should be doing more. I really believe that there's more you can offer to the world. I believe that putting your experience and skills together to make someone else's life better is where true fulfillment comes from. And looking back, that's the freedom that I was looking for, It feels great to be useful, and it's cool to inspire people, the only way you know how. I know this sounds a little cringe, but I don't care, man. This is important stuff you gotta figure out. At the end of the day, I just want to leave a legacy and make videos with lessons I would have wanted to learn when I was younger, And I also want to leave lessons I'd like my kids to learn after I'm gone. So if you can relate and you got this far, please make sure to subscribe to this channel and join my newsletter to get a workbook with all the questions I laid out in this video. And that's also going to be the first place you'll know when I launch my clothing brand. But here's one last problem I didn't talk about in this video. If you need to dig deeper on the strategy side of actually putting all of this together, I have a brand strategy video you can watch next. So best of luck to you.